on earth. This is an oblique reference to the Trinity, because before anything was, God is. Well, if God is love, who was God loving? Love implies relationship, but we know God is one. So this tells us that within his nature, God carries personality that can relate and can love. I think of the Trinity as a dance. It's a dance that moves endlessly and circles with the participants in the dance, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, bowing to one another, exchanging places with one another, braiding in and out as they move in a continuous circle. For in him all things in heaven and on earth were created, things visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or powers, all things have been created through him and for him. God is telling us through Paul that Jesus was there, that Jesus is as much responsible for God's creative activity as God the Father and God the Holy Spirit. That this creative activity resulted in all that is. For in him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell. Jesus was fully God and fully human. Now this statement is the inversion of the Philippians passage where Christ emptied himself of his divinity. But here in this passage, he is seen as the fullness of God, identical with God, interchangeable in function. These statements constitute a direct shot across the bow of all the naval ships gathered by the pagans and the Jewish Hellenists and the royal navies of all other systems. All legalistic systems then and now. Jesus isn't hidden like the mysteries of Gnosticism, available only to the inner circle of those very special people. Jesus isn't the product of correct rituals, correct sacrifices, laws, or regulations. Jesus isn't mysterious or psychic or simply a higher consciousness or any other of the philosophies that swirled around in this region, all claiming to be the truth. Jesus is clear, visible, out, and present in full daylight, full disclosure. I'm not saying that my finite mind is capable of understanding Jesus completely, but I'm saying that what I do see, I can comprehend. It is not hidden in mysterious passages and rituals and inner knowledge. It is out in full. It always strikes me when I read about these things that truly nothing is new under the sun. What was Hellenistic Gnosticism but any contemporary religion whose teachings are gradually revealed to the initiates as they grow in wisdom? It's like Scientology, to pick on one. They are encouraged to take course after course and pay more and more money to gain deeper and deeper secrets and more wisdom closer to the heart of what Scientology teaches. They get enough special trainings, and if they are deemed to be people with influence in the world, they are given the highest status and the highest level of wisdom and understanding. This is similar to other ritualistic systems like Freemasonry. I mean, even as one as benign as Freemasonry contains within it the idea that those who progress further and further gain more wisdom, gain more knowledge, and more access to the truth. Our modern culture is rife with every one of the religious practices Paul condemns in this letter. Back then, the traditions which shaped the culture of Colossae included this list: Pythagorean Platonic Gnosticism, Stoic asceticism, Iranian astral cults, worship of fertility goddesses like Cybele, the Great Mother, and Artemis of Ephesus, along with various flavors of Hellenistic Judaism. And before we start going, oh my word, how could those people possibly believe any of that stuff? We here in America have just about every one of them. We've discussed a couple of the Gnostic practices, and in place of asceticism and stoicism, we endlessly obsess about our diets, and many of us exercise as though by doing so we can earn a step towards heaven. Secular humanism encourages us, join hands, human beings can make this a better place. We're not doing a very good job. Astrology is alive and well everywhere. Horoscopes, getting a reading, are you married with the right spouse, what's your sign? Eastern mysticism in the forms of Hinduism and Buddhism and New Ageism are all around us. Nothing has changed. And because nothing has changed, we Christians are still being called to answer these challenges, and we are asked to defend and define the living Christ. Well, there is one huge difference in Christianity and all other religious systems in the world, and it's a difference that is highlighted in all of our readings for this morning. Christianity is the only religious system that is not about doing something first and doing it well enough, long enough, and with sufficient skill that then you get to be something. That's every other religious system. Christianity, God asks us to be first, and then we will do. In Amos, the Jews are condemned because all of their doing produced not good fruit, but poisonous fruit. The doing is the fruit that comes out of our being. And this fruit was not good fruit. It was not compassion, caring, concern. They did what they had to do, and then they got on with their lives and did precisely what they wanted. Even in that lovely, gentle story of Mary and Martha, we hear the same thing, the same theme. Martha knows that there are things that absolutely have to be done, and there are. But Jesus says, first be, and then do. Be at the feet of the Lord, ascertaining what it is God would have us do, and then go about the doing. I believe that the reason that we choose to believe in psychics, we choose to practice these religious systems that ask us to keep a set of rules or a set of laws and practice certain things, or we seek answers in mystics and psychics and everything else like that. We do this for a very simple reason. We fear that we will not have our spiritual needs met. So people who scoff at the impossibility of the virgin birth believe that a properly placed crystal will restore the body's natural resonance in harmony with the universe, and they will be healed. Where's the logic in that one? Why do we choose these answers? We really need control, and we don't have it. Most of us know that the truth is we don't have control over much of anything that happens to us. And we need to control because we need to meet our spiritual and physical needs. These forms of worship where you get to do first and then be, we are responsible for the terms. We are reflecting spirituality, but we are controlling the mirror. And we don't have to change. We resist change fiercely. I know I do. I hate change. I'm actually pretty comfortable with the way things are. Most of the time I like my work. Most of the time I like my friends. Most of the time I like my family. And I like the things I choose to do with my day. Well, if I change, how do I know I'm still going to like that? I hate those TV reality shows like Trading Spaces or Getting Ready to Move or whatever it is, where the designer comes in, usually with some of the friends, and they make a decision to do something different in the house. I tell you, that would drive me out of my mind. Because if someone were to come into my home and paint my wood floors